Beautiful soul. I returned to visit Robert 5 years after that, and he was still living in the woods. The cabin was still incomplete. He made a small amount of progress. The return visits are always fleeting. We try to combine them with other trips we're doing in the area. And I caught up with him just a few days ago, not him directly, but a mutual friend, and he is still there. And I know he is still looking for any help that he can get. So if there's anyone who's looking to spend a couple of weeks with a beautiful man in the forests of Arkansas, then look him up. I would describe myself as an environmentalist. In fact, lots of the questions came through about my attitudes to climate change. I would say, though, that I'm an environmentalist with a small e. Naturally, I have a highly elevated carbon footprint. All of the flights that I do, it's something I wrestle with on a daily basis. I simply would not be able to do the things that I do were I to abandon air travel altogether. But it may be something that comes into action at some stage, because things are happening and we need to change our lifestyles. Now, I don't need to go into it. I make other concessions in my life. I make other changes that I'd like to think make up for it, but it's far from perfect. But the reason I describe myself as an environmentalist with a small e is because society likes to pick environmentalists up for their transgressions. How can you possibly be an environmentalist if you fly around the world? We need to change this narrative, in my mind. Rather than disempowering people to make a change for fear of being called out as being a hypocrite, wouldn't it be better if we all started making as many small changes as we can? Rather than insisting that anyone who dares declare themselves an environmentalist make a 100% Greta Thunberg style change and sail across the ocean when you have to get to another place. I personally try to empower people by making small grassroots changes to their life. Because if we're waiting for the government to make action, it's not going to happen, I can tell you. But we as a community can do that. I'm also a hopeful environmentalist. And that surprises people because there's a lot of eco-anxiety out there. I'm constantly meeting people who are debilitated with anxiety over what is happening. Perhaps the reason I'm hopeful is because I meet some of the boldest, most ambitious scientists and mavericks who are actually trying to make good, positive climatic action. And two of those is this remarkable father-son duo. They're called the Zimovs, and they live out in Siberia. And they have one of the craziest, one of the most ambitious plans to try and reverse global warming that I've ever seen. And they also happen to be completely bonkers. I'm in